And then I have what? Then I have some thought of converging my pieces on f2.
Yep, and I'm going to take this.
Okay. I'm wondering if castle queenside's a good idea, or just not even castle, just force an attack right away. Because if I can attack this knight here, I can open up the file and get to him. But let's see. Is there anything I have to worry about from him? Any rook moves? I think knight out and then castle queenside. So keep it dangerous. Can he attack this knight again before I defend it again? Yes, but it comes at the cost of f2.
Okay, that knight has b6, e5. No, can't go e5. What is that knight doing? That knight really doesn't have a future at all. What about bishop e3 here? Just develop. Sure.
Okay, so he's defending nicely there. I think it might be a decent idea to castle queenside, and then when I retake that bishop, it's attacking both the queen and the rook. Let me see if he'll go for that.
Interesting. Castle and queenside. What if we trade bishops here? Bishop takes, knight or rook to d4. I kind of like that. I'm doubled up on the file. But then my b2 pawn is hanging. Do I like that at all? Or do I even have to rush for this trade? I don't think I really have to worry about this trade at all yet. Maybe something like c3?
Okay, so of course that didn't happen. It was a simple idea. But it's a threat, and I can build off it somehow. If I could free up either of those squares for my knight, like if I take the bishop here, he retakes and I move my knight. Oh, he can retake with his rook. So that won't work out that way. Unless I can stop that. I'm thinking about pawn storm on the queen side, so I can open up some ideas over there. But also this rook doesn't have any protectors. Is there any way I can take advantage of that, like queen up to f5? Queen up to f5 threatens knight f6 as well, if he protected it like with his knight. So let's see if we can build on that. Do I have to worry about the knight coming and attacking me? No. Well, it's a h4 could be an issue. He could attack me from h4. And defend at the same time. Let me push so that that won't happen.
Oh, did not expect g5 at all. What if I do something like bishop d4 here? And like force trades. Because then his knight's still stuck back there instead of me developing it. So kind of like bishop d4 here.
Okay. Bishop comes up to attack my queen and gets a skewer. Right. Now, if I push up, he takes, I take his rook. Isn't bad for me. I don't think. So I've got a lot of ideas coming up after that. That would make things complicated and open up attacking lines possibly for me. There are other ideas, but I think this could work.
Interesting. So I could take his rook on h8, then he can take my rook on e4. What happens then? Then I could do like knight e5. Knight e5. That looks interesting. I don't know if it's actually good or not. So bishop takes, he takes, knight e5 uncovers the attack on the bishop, and I'm attacking his knight. So then he moves his queen somewhere, I get a tempo. Trade off the knight. Especially if his rook tries to take on h1, then knight e5 is like almost checkmate with queen on. Yeah, let's try that.
Okay, he takes. I think the only reasonable move is take again. Hopefully I can set something up based on this. There's no other giant tricks around, except for discovered knight move up, but I don't think that's a big idea here. No, he could protect the rook anyways.
Okay. So now let's see what happens with knight e5. How do you respond to that?
Okay, he wants to move the knight. But I'm wondering if this could trap the bishop somewhere. If queen comes down, bishop can go up a couple squares. I think the bishop's trapped. Except he can take with his knight, and then I can take Maybe not traps, but something good can happen.
Okay. So here. What if I do like queen e2 here? If he takes bishop, I take pawn and rook. But that's not really a good trade.
I'll be right back.
I could just do knight takes knight. But that's boring. I think knight takes knight is safer. I think there's some type Oh, actually, yeah. Because if rook takes bishop, I didn't even think of that for some reason. That would just throw away my advantage. Let us not do that.
Okay, that was what I was hoping for here. He wanted to take, freeing this bishop, but the knight's going to be pinned at the end of it. If I just take this bishop with my queen, I don't think he can do anything to protect the knight. There's no second defender, so I'm just taking it.
Okay, so now... now I'm in a bad spot. So I'm thinking of just trading my queen away. I will have a rook and 2 pieces for his queen. With knight takes c5. What else can I do? What if knight b6 check? No, that doesn't do anything. Yeah, let's get into a weird endgame.
Okay, so he's choosing to go for the imbalance. And is that too much for me to deal with? I mean, sure, I have to go for it. I don't think there's any other choice, but is this really? This imbalance seems worse than it would normally be. I guess I have to go for it. Is there anything else? I must have miscounted somewhere. But I mean, what else can I do besides go for it? Oh gosh. Well, let's go and make sure his pieces don't work together. Ouch. Okay. I need to centralize my queen first and foremost. Start picking off his pawns. I think I can harass his knight pretty well.
Okay, so here, now we get into the point where I go, I have no idea what I'm doing here due to the fact that I've never played an endgame like this. So this will be a learning experience. I want to get rid of pawns. How do I do that? Okay, so he could do like... Oh man, queens are annoying. Okay, knight to e4? Does that accomplish anything? Knight to e4 just saves my piece, but I want to actually do something with my piece. What else can I do? Knight to d7. But then he's just getting a free move. I don't know if I really want that. Knight to e4. Let's try that.
Okay, knight comes up there. My first instinct is pawn push to make him run away again to a less helpful square. And then I might be able to get some forks and such coming up soon. Because if he moves to d2, queen up, he can move and check me. But, well, also he's blocking his bishop. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I shouldn't rush to that quite yet. But he could get good outposts if I don't. I think I should. And then just be careful where I put my king.
Okay, I kind of thought he would do something like that. So here... I really want to do something like rook to d8 and get a fork on his queen. But right now my knight is being forced to run around. Where do I have to run? Could I do like f4? Just make it even more weird? Oh, I could just do a check, like knight to d6. Check. Then something else. Okay, let's do that.
Okay, that's what I thought. Well, I was thinking about c7 as the response. And just deal with the next check and activate my king. Well, now I'm... Which I might need to do. I think I'm going to do that.
So now where do I want my knight to go? Knight c4, knight f7. Knight f7 hits h6. That could work. Unless he does queen to g7, then what? Then am I losing my knight? Queen g7. I think I just gave up my knight. What do I do here? This is so much fun. I want to get into this endgame more often. What do I do? I don't need to move it, I guess. What else do I move, though? I'm running it lowish on time. All of his white... What if I can get my bishop to f7? Bishop f3. Go.
Okay, so trying to develop this somehow. Come around and eat my pawns from f7. Well, I want to keep my stuff on dark, but I think push here needs to be done. And he runs back, and then I have queen attacks possibly.
That's not good. Okay. Bishop e2. Hangs the bishop. Bishop g2. I wanted to force that g4 move, obviously.
Okay, he moved. I think, quick idea, queen up, attack two things at once. I think my king can survive.
Huh. Okay, so now he's attacking my knight, or my rook. What if I do like knight e8? Check. Sure.
Okay, that was smart check. He was going to have issues holding on to his rook, his knight, I mean. I think king has to go up now, up to the right. If I go down, it's scary. If I go up, it's scary. Let me go up, just in case he needs to be active.
Now I don't know what to do. That really didn't accomplish what it should have. Rook d4. Ah, take that
He
b
comes
pawn.
out here.
You know you want it.
I think just take the pawn. I can't do much more besides try and get some passed pawns and get active. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Okay, yeah, let's not lose our queens over this. Yeah. Pawn push.
Oh, you didn't do it. That's boring. What if I do like rook b4 anyways?
Okay, so that move is still strong. What can I do? Centralize my king and then push a pawn? Or get to the side and save my middle pawn? Save my pawn. I'll be running low on squares. Save my pawn. Centralize an attack. Centralize an attack. Attack with the king.
Okay. I get a pawn. And take free pawns.
Of course, I was just kidding about the king attack. I think these pawns can still do something because I can't win this endgame. I have to attack.
Uh-oh. I'm running out of time. Don't have time to think. Take free pawns. No. Don't take pawns.
Okay, so he's moving the pawn of check. Push up, maybe? Push up, I get checked. Push anywhere, I get checked. Anywhere I go, I get checked by the knight. Okay.
I'm just gonna keep checking you.
Yeah, I guess I gotta grab the pawn. But watch out for forks. Watch out for knight checks.
Oh no, that was bad. More checks.
Stay on dark squares. Pawn push f3 incoming. Awesome. I think that's actually a good idea. And what's he threatening? He's threatening kill my queen. I'm gonna check and then take the rook then. The bishop. Oh no! Okay, I can take the knight. I think safely. Safely, yes.
Uh-oh. uh,
Okay. This is ridiculous. Attack the rook. Yeah, stay on dark. Attack the rook.
shoot.
Okay. Can I win this pawn endgame? Can I win this pawn endgame? Take, take, take. Those two passed pawns. Is it gonna kill me, or can I keep them? My king is infinitely better. Take, take, take. Pawn pushes to save this one, but this one holds on. Oh my god, is that gonna work? Take, take, take. My king's here. Pawn pushes two. I push. No, pawn pushes one. I push here. Pawn push. I don't know. I think I can do it. Oh my god, this is scary. There's got to be something better. Queen attacks are better. Take the pawn. Take the pawn.
Dang it, you weren't supposed to take that pawn. Like, why didn't you do c4? It was such a good move. How do I convert this? I need to fork him. I don't have much time.
Okay, check. That's expected. I want to not move back where I was. I'll get killed. I will move green squares. Green squares in front of the pawn. Green squares. Yeah, in front of his pawn, not in front of my pawn. Okay. By the way, when I say green, I mean dark. I'm using a board that has green. In case you were wondering. Protect the pawn. March my other pawn. I don't think it's going to be too bad. Anything stronger? Anything super strong? Checkmates. Over here, here, here. Checkmate. No, that won't work. Protect the pawn. Push the air pawn. It'll work. I don't know if it'll work.
Same moves.
Okay, he's attacking me. Now I would take the trade if I had it, but I don't have the full trade. Simply back up and keep everything protected, or scoot over one. I think back up, keep everything protected. I can hold on.
Oh no, what do I do here?
Okay, he's Gala. I'm gonna push this pawn so I can have a little bit more sight for my queen.
I hope he falls for forks.
Okay, a check. I attack. Only reasonable move. Attack.
This didn't
Oh, he
accomplish
can check
anything.
me again. Oh no, he can't. I take the pawn. Okay, he's here. I think pawn push is a strong idea here. Before there was the bishop, there was the rook there, so I didn't want to. But now, if I do this, he can take mine, but I'll win. I won't win his. I'm gonna push the other pawn. I think. If I push here, he takes this pawn. I take. Dang, I'm not going for it.
E4.
Okay. He's gonna do that. I'm gonna reinforce this. Okay, now he's defending that. Now I attack him. Now I attack his pawn. Maybe. Is that gonna kill me? No.
Wait, is this good?
Take the pawn.
Nope.
Okay, what's he doing there? Getting ready to check me and stuff. Let me do this push I've been wanting to do.
Well, that's trouble.
Okay, push again. His bishop's out the game. I've won.
Oh, that's even more trouble. I think I'm done now. Until he misses this. Hang your queen.
Interesting.
Do it.
But yeah, queen, check. Queen check. How do I do this
I don't think
cleanly?
he's gonna fall for it.
Queen check here.
Shoot. Okay, well, I think that's game. That was fun. Resign.
Okay, good game. Hello. Yeah, that was topsy-turvy.
Okay, I'm back.
Hey.
Hello, follow.
Okay,
You had me for the longest time.
that was nuts.
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's
go over that one because a lot of stuff happened that didn't necessarily have to happen. So let's take a look. Let me
good game.
Yeah, that was very interesting. I was actually worried from the opening that the game was not going to be interesting, but you guys exceeded my expectations, so it was good. Okay, hold on one second. Okay, I'll invite you guys to an analysis board in a second.
All right.
Okay, so you should have gotten an invite, book fan, and follower. You should have gotten an invite as well.
Being covered up. Here it is.
Okay.
Great.
All right, so let's talk about this opening because actually you guys played the opening reasonably well. I'm gonna pick a little bone with follower and a huge bone with you, book fan. But...
yeah.
Okay, so this is all perfect. Okay, so this is all standard. Okay, so now in this position, actually, instead of rook e1, the actual better move here is to play this move Queen E1. And the reason is that you still want to support E4, but oftentimes you're going to get this pawn to E5 and you're going to get this pawn to F4. And when you're pushing this pawn to F4, you want to have it supported by this rook. And when you start generating your kingside attack, you want this rook actually on the king side.
Oh.
So Queen E1 is slightly more correct. Again, it's not a huge deal, but oftentimes when you move your rook to E1, you actually end up moving your rook back to F1, and so you end up wasting 2 tempi. And your queen actually isn't doing anything better on D1 than it would be on E1. So Queen E1 is correct. Okay, but that's not the real issue. The real issue is this move. Okay. So yeah, unfortunately this move actually loses a piece by force. The correct move is simply just to play bishop E7. But notice that even if this move didn't lose a piece, it's actually still bad, because what is this bishop doing, right? It's basically biting on granite. So a bishop on D6 usually doesn't fare well against a fianchettoed pawn structure. So if anything, you want this bishop probably on this square to pressure this way.
Okay.
Because very often in this opening, follower, you should take copious notes on this. Okay. How does this bishop get out in this opening? In this particular setup, oftentimes this bishop actually goes this way. So in that instance, you'd want this bishop to kind of counteract it and go this way. So which is why you play a move like bishop E7. Irrespective of the fact that bishop D6 loses a piece, you actually prefer the bishop on E7 just for positional reasons as well, not just tactical. Okay. So you played bishop D6. Okay, so follower won a piece. Whoops. Sorry.
No, I shouldn't have wasted so much time. I knew I had lost the piece.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you just gotta. I mean, at this point, you just gotta kind of just go into it. So, okay, so take. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know that losing the light square bishop is any better than the dark square bishop. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so this is all. I think you did it the best way. You kept the 2 bishops on the board. And you actually have a slight amount of pressure. But of course, after 94, which was good, he kind of neutralized that and got rid of the 2 bishops. So this was good by follower. Okay, knight d7 is fine. Bishop e3 looking to trade is good. Castle. Okay, so now I thought here the simplest it would be... Okay, well, black is quasi-threatening to take here. I'm not even sure if it's good necessarily, but at the very least, it gives white something to think about. So I thought maybe the simplest would just be to take, and then I noticed that Bookfan was excited by this prospect.
I was.
but you can actually save both with this move, and now white's it's just easy. So, and I noticed that actually follower had seen this line, but he didn't want to go into it. I mean, there was nothing wrong with what you did, Bookfan. It's just, I mean, you're just down a piece and you don't actually have anything, unfortunately. But I think this would have been simpler for follower, because basically this almost forces a trade of rooks at least, and very possibly also forces a trade of queens, because, okay, after take, you notice I'm forking these 2 guys. So, I mean, if you want to save your queen, you have to play queen e7, and then rook d1 is just super simple. I mean, you could also take here if you really want to, but this should be just a matter of technique. But okay, so you played this move. Oh, sorry. You played this move. Right, c3. Okay, which is fine. But you start to complicate things after g5. Okay, so g5, I mean, at this point, I mean, he has to try to complicate things, so there's nothing wrong with g5. Just trying to kind of give you some issues. So again, taking on c5 and rook d4 would have been good. But he plays with bishop d4, which I thought was actually a very interesting try. And so after this move, queen f5, okay, so now you are being threatened with queen takes e4. You're also threatening bishop takes h8. But, I mean, in this position, there's really no need to go for insane complications. Simple move like queen e2 makes a lot of sense. Just defend your rook, force him to move his rook, and then, say queen e2. Okay, so so if he takes your bishop, you just take with a knight, and you're just, doing great. If he moves his rook, say rook e8, you can take on c5. He has to take with a queen, probably, because he takes with a knight. Then rook e5 forks his queen and his knight, and you win a piece.
Okay.
So, well, I guess you can go queen d3, but okay. I mean, then you're trading queens by force, and that's probably good for you. But okay, so you start to get into these complications because, oops. So you played bishop takes h8. Okay, so this is still okay actually. Well, yeah, this is still okay, but you have to find accurate moves now because now all of a sudden all your pieces are hanging, and it's tough to save all of them without, you know, some cleverness. Okay, so he took on e4. So this guy's hanging.
Yes.
So you should probably just fix that and play a move like bishop d4. And now again, you're offering a trade. If he moves this knight, you just move your queen out of the way, queen e1. And again, you're unpinning, everything is fine, you're doing okay. But after this move, which was knight e5. Okay, now all of a sudden, now all your pieces are hanging simultaneously, and I'm not sure you can save all of them, because after this move, queen h7, which was good, now all of a sudden, you know, he's threatening this, attacking your queen, he's threatening this, attacking your knight, I'm not actually sure you can save your piece now, because your bishop is trapped. And the problem is, this move after you played knight takes knight. Okay, well, actually, in this position, a book fan made a mistake. I think he should simply just take this, right? Because now your queen's attacked and your bishop's attacked. So the only way to save both is to play a move like bishop to d4. But now notice that the bishop is walking into a pin, so black has the move e5 here. And now he wins his piece back, and if white tries bishop h3, black has f5. And I think this is fine, because your idea is you just want to play g4 now.
I think I overestimated winning the queen here.
Yes,
Or,
but the problem is, instead you play queen takes h8. Oh, sorry. You play queen takes h8. And now you actually give follower a chance to get a rook, a knight, and a bishop for the queen, which should be enough to win, actually.
Right.
So knight takes bishop was correct, obviously, because these three pieces far, far outweigh the queen.
Except I messed it up.
Yeah, so Yaron is saying, can black still play bishop takes c5 and go queen versus rook, bishop, bishop after bishop d4? Are you sure? So take, and then what do you want to do here? E5.
Oh, and then e5, I take the bishop, and it's double bishop.
Oh, right.
Queen.
No, that's true. Okay, so maybe here. Oh, I guess he's right. So I forgot that c5 was not defended. So I guess what you did might be best, to be honest. Now, I guess.
Black.
Yeah, because rook and two bishops versus a queen is even worse. Rook, knight, and a bishop. I mean, it's pretty bad, but it's not as bad. But two bishops would probably be deadly. So I guess what you did was actually technically correct. Is there no way you can just like? Yeah, I guess there isn't. I was thinking, yeah, because I guess you're down two pieces right now, and you can only take one at a time. Okay, so yeah, I guess what you did was probably best then. So you took on h8. Take. Okay, yeah, so this should be technically lost for black. But of course, I mean, you know, you guys are both short on time, and you guys haven't really had this material imbalance before in your games, and, you know, the queen is very tricky, so a lot of things can happen. Yeah, I'm sure neither of you guys have ever had this before, but this should definitely favor the three pieces. Okay, so let's see what happens. So you played queen e5, which was good. You need to centralize the queen as soon as possible. Okay, so I thought simplest here was maybe no, I think what you did was okay. I mean, what you could have done also, I mean, you could have played knight b3 here, and then if queen e2, then just rook d2. If queen e1, just bishop f1. And now you're just kind of consolidating, and eventually you're just gonna kind of get your pieces out and start trying to target his pawns. Because basically, no matter what, as soon as you manage to get your pieces targeting a pawn, you're gonna win it by force, because he can only defend it at most, you know, one time with his queen. You can always have three attackers on it, so. Eventually his pawns will start to fall, but it's going to take a lot of moves of technique. So, you know, you're going to play like a move like king g2, f3, get your bishop out to unpin it, then start moving your rook, and then move your knight. I mean, it'll take quite a while, but Eventually, you should be able to break through. But okay, I mean, knight e4 was not a bad move either. Okay, and then he played f5, which, I mean, he has to try something. And now you played knight d6, which is fine. He played king c7, which is forced. And here, okay, so here I think the real issue in this position is that you have to stop this infiltration of queen to e2. Because now he'd be double attacking your rook and your pawn. So I was thinking maybe a move like bishop f1 here, just to keep his queen out of e2, or even like king f1. Because, I mean, he doesn't actually have a threat, right? Because your rook is simply defending d6. So I'm not exactly sure how he would make progress, but I mean, eventually, like, your goal is you want to play king f1, or let me go back and forward. So, like, a move like king f1, and then next move you'll play, like, rook d2, and then just slowly, like, inch forward. You can't really rush this type of ending, because his queen is always so powerful it can kind of sweep from one side of the board to the other. But if you just kind of slowly and methodically make your way forward in the position, eventually, you know, you can, like, target this pawn, and it'll probably fall.
Okay.
But after bishop f3, the problem is now all of a sudden you're not actually defending this because he has this move g4. And now, after bishop g2, now he has queen e2, and all of a sudden it's getting tricky. Okay, so you played the best move, actually, which is knight e8. And then rook d4, which is very strong, because now the idea is if he takes on b2, which he noticed almost too late.
At
But,
the last second, yeah.
yeah. But yeah, so he can't obviously take on b2 because you have rook b4. So what did he play? He played e5. So I'm not sure about e5. It's probably a good idea, but I thought maybe just a5. So the idea is you're giving your king a flight square, and you're also now threatening to take on b2 because this pawn is defending b4.
Oh, nice.
I'm not entirely sure how he defends this pawn. And if your queen can kind of like grab these queenside pawns, this pawn can become very fast and start running. Because actually at the moment, White's pieces are fairly uncoordinated. Like this guy and this guy aren't working together, and this guy is just kind of chilling, roaming around. But okay, so you played e5, so now you gave follower the opportunity to play rook b4 check, which was good. Okay, because now this pawn's never going to be lost. And now you played king c5, which probably was best, because you don't want to kind of have your king stay on the back rank. And notice if king a6, then bishop f1 wins the queen, which is something that actually follower missed in about 10 moves.
Yeah, I'm glad I just chose to centralize because
Yeah.
I didn't see that tactic.
No, but king c5 is absolutely correct. So, I mean, you kind of have to abandon this. I mean, you have to abandon this pawn anyway, right? Because, again, if king a6, I just win the queen. So, okay, so he took the
Did
pawn,
I
which
really
was
miss it? Because I was looking for that.
correct. No, yeah, I'll show you. Yeah, you missed it. Okay, so f4, again, I mean, as good a move as any, probably. Because, unfortunately, you can't take anything. I mean, you could have tried maybe, like, queen d1 to b1 or something and force, like, a3 and make these pawns awkward. But, I mean, what you did was fine. So, b4 check was a great move. So, yeah, I think, actually, you have to do this because the move he played actually wins by force.
Oh, am I seeing what I think I'm... Oh, no, king c4.
Yeah, so king c4 is forced.
Oh.
Exactly, and now he had bishop f1 winning the game. But, yeah, but I mean, you guys were both really short on time, so it was tough to see this. I actually, initially, I didn't think this was in the position either. Like, when he played b4, I was like, oh, just king, and then I was like, oh, wait a minute, that makes a lot of sense. But he didn't find the follow-up, and now by checking, would you check again? Yeah, you checked again, and now the king is actually starting to get really active. Yeah. So now I think here it's already tough for White. I mean, he should lose, but I don't know if he should win anymore is the thing. So you played knight e4, which again is probably a mistake. Well, actually it's okay, but I think you have to find the right follow-up. So knight e4 check, king b2. Okay, now rook takes a7. So now you're getting kind of panicky, but I think you need to keep this knight on a square where it's defended. So a move like knight c5 makes a lot of sense, because now you just want to like take on a7, and then maybe try to take this guy. And then if he plays f3, you always have bishop f1, and your king's always completely safe with your bishop on f1. But after rook takes a7, the problem is after f3, now you're losing a piece, I think, by force. Probably, I'm trying to think if you should keep the knight or the bishop in this position. Maybe you should keep the knight? Maybe? I'm not sure. But keep the knight with like knight c5. And then he's forced to take, or else you play bishop f1. So take, and then you have to take. And
Our
I'm not
pawns aren't menace.
Yeah, I'm not sure how black wins here. Like, I think black's better, but he still has work in front of him because, like, the whole idea is if you actually remove this, this, and this, it's probably a draw because you can, like, construct some sort of fortress with the rook on the 3rd rank and just keep the rook on the 3rd rank forever. It might not be quite a fortress yet, but, I mean, just in general, like, white has these fortress ideas even if he wins more material, if black wins more material. But okay, I mean, at this point it was already kind of time trouble. So you played rook e7, which is okay. I mean, here you probably should just take here, right?
Well, isn't there the...
No, but then don't...
Oh, rook d2. Oh, well, actually... Yeah, okay, you're right. No, my mistake.
That's what I was hoping for with rook d7.
No, yeah, you're right. Sorry, I forgot about that. Okay, so queen e1, bishop f1, queen e4. Okay, this is fine. Rook d2, and then rook... Okay, so now this one was actually interesting. So you were questioning a long time whether to take on d3 with the queen.
I wanted to see if I could run my king
so
up and win the pawns.
let's try to figure this out because I think this is only the last interesting part of the game because I think everything else is just kind of like time trouble stuff. Because here black I think is winning by force. So, okay, so let's look at that ending and see. Because originally in the chat I said it was a win, but I'm not entirely sure. But it's pretty much forcing. Okay, so take. Okay, so now white has only one move. Do you guys know what white's force move is here?
c4.
I think a3 to hold together a little. No.
Okay, so the problem is you need to somehow, because this king can win both these pawns, right, by force. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, you need to trade. You need to somehow trade those two guys for this one, because if the king wins these two by themselves, this pawn's just going to win the game, right? So you have to play a4, forced. Okay, and then on king c4, now what do you play?
b5.
Right, b5. I mean, a5 amounts to the same thing. So if a5, king b5, king f1, c5, and now take, and then you win this pawn. So it's basically the same thing, but I guess this is a slightly better version. So, okay, king f1. Okay, so take here, king e1, here, king d2, here. Okay, so now the question is whether this is a win. Okay, so king, I guess, d3, king d5, king e3. Okay, and now notice that black always has this tempo h5 that he can use.
Oh.
So
that makes it a win.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I thought this was a win originally, but I'm not entirely sure. Okay, so king e3, you play e4, and then if king f4, king d4 wins. So I think you have to play king d2, and then king d4, and then king e1, and then yeah, I think just like e3 probably wins. Take here f2, and so this wins. Okay, so that's probably a win.
Right. Yeah.
But okay, I mean, I can understand why you wouldn't want to do that
because I keep the pressure.
Yeah, exactly. Although, okay, in this position, oops. So, you play king takes b4. Okay, so I'm not entirely sure this is actually a win for you. It might be, but I mean, okay. So the problem is, like you have a couple of ideas. One is you have this idea of playing e3, and then the other idea you have is just to promote this pawn. I'm not entirely sure that white can stop both, but I think he can try. So, okay, a3, rook e3. Okay, I'm trying to figure out like what the best defensive setup is, but maybe it's like just have the rook on c3 maybe, and then okay, so eventually get to a position like like this maybe.
Yeah, if you stay on c3 it's hard.
Right, so you stay on c3 and then it's not super clear because like what I was trying to think of is like eventually at some point you're gonna have to attack the rook, and then the idea is okay, if the rook stays on e3 then you push this pawn, and if it doesn't stay on e3 then you play e3 yourself. But I'm not sure that you can ever construct that because okay, like say okay, so say like I don't know. Okay, say queen who goes it? Oh right, okay. So let's go a little bit further, right? Right. Okay. So now like a move I guess you have to lose the A pawn, yeah. Okay, so that was probably a wrong check, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to like construct a position where yeah, and this is already hopeless, but I'm trying to figure out because like the idea is eventually maybe you can sacrifice like if you can sacrifice your bishop for
A pawn?
yeah, like these two pawns or something. I think it's a draw.
Except then he could have back rank checks.
Right. But okay, so you just keep the rook on this.
Oh, okay.
Like, I'm trying to figure out how to construct it, but okay. So say something like, just for the sake of argument, something like this. Check here. Okay, something like this. Something like this. I mean, he has king d2 here, I guess, which is a problem. But I mean, just figure something like this happens, just for the sake of argument. See, I think this is a draw. I think. Although, no, I guess it's not, because he can just play here. Never mind. Okay, so yeah, his idea is he just wants to come like this, and you can't stop that, I don't think. Let's see. So here, and then just here. Yeah, okay. So I guess if you had the pawn here, it would be a draw. So maybe at some point you can like try to play h4, and then if he takes en passant, you have like king h2. I don't know. But in any case, like black's playing for the win with the queen versus the rook and bishop. But like to even get to that point was fascinating because I thought just being up a piece, the game would kind of be very dull and just okay, you just trade pieces and win. But it didn't turn out that way at all. So.
My line looked way more interesting.
Yeah, I know, but again, when you're up a piece, you need to keep things simple as possible. But I thought Bookman did a fantastic job for having lost a piece on move 8 to kind of complicate things to such an extent where you got some rook and two pieces versus queen ending. I mean, that's really what you have. You have to kind of shake things up. So even though technically that ending is probably not great for him, I mean, practically it's a lot better than just being down a piece. So. Even though the computer evaluation might actually be the same, if you put a computer on that evaluation on that position where it's rook, bishop, and knight versus the queen, it probably says something close to -3 for, or +3 in your favor, in white's favor. And if you put the position on, like, say, move 10 or something, it probably says close to +3. But the difference is that, it's much easier for a human to play the position as white when you're just up a piece versus when you have a rook, a bishop, a knight versus a queen. So,
Right.
So I mean that was a good kind of like transition for black to get in, but yeah, hopefully you guys learned a little bit more about that opening now, and
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and it was a very interesting game, and time was definitely a factor as well. So
I'm glad we had the 10 seconds.
Yeah, that helped.
Yeah, the fact that follower had a little bit less time helped, I think. But you guys are both kind of in some time pressure, and you guys are both kind of making moves quickly. So I don't know if it mattered at the end really, but it was a very interesting game. So I thank both of you guys for being on.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll talk to you guys on the stream.
Yeah. See you.
Okay.